the horse racing industry. Horse racing is an industry, a business, but also is covered by the media as a sport. Horses are called athletes who have careers, and unfortunately, involuntarily, they've been pushed beyond their limits with the use of drugs, painkillers, breeding practices. And let's talk about how they get paid during their life. Horses start training at about 1.5 years old and start racing professionally at 2. That's like a kindergarten kid or a grade 1 in human years. So like a kid, their bones haven't yet developed. The constant pounding and pressure on their undeveloped fragile bones means they develop many diseases, such as degenerative bone and disc disease, which is very common even in a 4-year-old horse. Race horses are bred to be light and have long legs that are skinny. Well, yes, that raises their chance of winning during races, but also raises the chance of injury and death. Legally, they are like properties. They can have multiple owners, sometimes corporations and companies, and sold multiple times during their lifetime, which adds to their stress and anxiety. There was a race horse in 2000 that was sold for $70 million, if you can believe it. Typical horse races race horses are confined in 12 by 12 stalls most of their lives, with zero chance of socializing. But we all know that racehorses are actually naturally social herd animals. They love to play, interact, form relationships with other horses, but there is no chance of that in this industry. So they develop mental and emotional damages, such as creeping, bobbing, weaving, pacing, kicking, and even self-mutilation. What is horse racing? It's creeping collars, nose chains, tongue ties, metal bits, leather whips, painkillers, and drugs. This is a memorial. So how do these racehorses die? Cardiovascular collapse is very common. And remember, we are talking about in human race like a kindergarten kid having a cardiovascular collapse. Forced head trauma, broken necks, crushed spines, ruptured ligaments, shattered legs, usually so shattered that I don't want to tell you, too saddening. And my favorite is pulmonary hemorrhage. Yes, it's very common in racehorses. BC regulations and guidelines have pages after pages how to deal with pulmonary hemorrhage when it happens. Basically, they run so fast that they can drown in their own blood. And the amount of stress, drugs, and pressure on the abdomen means they all have extensive ulcer. So on the last year, 2023, we did a protest at the Cup, which is one of the biggest events that they have. And unfortunately, while we were outside, a horse died. He was only 3 years old. His name was Lent Me 20. And I just want to explain his death in the words of a trainer that was talking on the media outlets. And this is quote by quote what he said. He reared up, which is a natural action by a horse. It lost its balance. It came down with the full force of his body on the top of his head, and regrettably, his skull fractured into multiple fragments, and the horse died instantly. That is so rare, but it can happen anywhere though. So if they don't die with any of these, and they somehow survive this industry, their career is usually over within 1 to 5 years. They may go into show jumping or simply to the slaughterhouses. We know that Alberta each year slaughters upwards of 25,000 horses a year. is no fixing. This is not a welfare issue. This is just for entertainment, and we think that racehorsing just needs to end. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you.